like, oh, is there a way I can adjust my camera? It looks like I'm made of plastic.
It would also be way bigger. I don't know about camera adjustment.
I don't. Let's see, webcam filters. Like you saw probably in the last episode, it looked like I was made of plastic. Like I threw in my mouse. I had a shine on my face that looked like I was like I was a doll or something. Today on Battle for the Bay podcast, I pissed off a lot of people on Twitter. Jordan Love sprained his MCL. We give our Week 2 predictions and a whole lot of other news coming up right after the intro. Play it.
Green 18. Green 19.
Fournette, the running back. 8 seconds, 7 seconds. Brady to throw. Throws a deep pass downfield. Got Scotty Miller in the open. Makes the catch. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
Rodgers fires quickly. End zone is caught for the touchdown by Allen Lazard.
Just drive again back at the 21. Dropping. 3-step drop. Throws on the end zone. Caught ball. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Mike Evans reaches up with one hand.
He spins to his left. Comes underneath, and the pass is incomplete, out of bounds. Now they say complete. 3rd and 1. Rodgers play action. Looks to the end zone. Rainbow Jordy Nelson. He's got it. Touchdown.
To the 11-yard line. There's the snap. Mahomes running to his right. Look out. He may run. Mahomes directly. No, toward the end zone. Battle intercepted. Picked off in the end zone. Bucks are going to beat the Chiefs.
Enough about our
Enough
about our bullshit with our past lives as
enough
terrible
about us being
football
losers.
What is up, guys? I am back, and I am back with Draz for episode... What episode is it, Draz?
4, 5?
Somewhere like that. I'll check.
The time flies when you're having fun.
It does fly. It does fly. It flies like a bird.
That's why every podcast has been over an hour long, because we're like, oh, we're doing pretty good. It's been 35 minutes.
It is episode 7. It is episode 7 of Battle for the Bay. And
7?
I accidentally... Yes. Yeah, I'm surprised it lasted that long too, man.
Holy hell.
But,
we're pros at this now.
Now, we got to make a quick disclaimer here. We're recording this a little bit earlier than we would. This is before Monday Night Football. Draz,
yes.
you might want to take it from here.
Yeah, we're recording this. We would normally record this after Monday Night Football, but I have some procedures in the next couple weeks. The first one starting on Tuesday, right when we would record, and I'll be out of commission for at least a couple days afterwards. So we normally release the podcast, was it Wednesday or Thursday? So in order to keep up that schedule...
It's every Wednesday. We record it on Monday or Tuesday. Usually Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah, so normally we'll be able to tell you what goes on about, we'll give you a full accounting of whether we were right or wrong about our predictions and stuff like that. But we're going to be one game short, probably twice this month, I would say.
Maybe.
Starting with this episode.
Yeah, and
we'll see.
For all those wondering, after Monday Night Football rolls around, I'll try and get at least some. Try and get at least Draz's thoughts afterwards. If he types it down or something, I'll add that, and I'll also put it into our Pick-ems records. So by the time you guys see this, it would have already been said and done. But just a reminder of why we don't talk about Monday Night Football. It's going to be because of that.
I could send you a phone recorded video of me crying when Aaron Rodgers
tears his other ACL.
Both his Achilles.
Or his other Achilles.
Both Achilles explode. We should be fine because Nick Bosa is going against Aaron Rodgers and not Sean Watson or anybody like that.
Okay.
All right.
Well, first things first. I got to get this out of the way as soon as possible. After the Steelers game yesterday, I pissed off a lot of people on Twitter, and I am so happy.
pull it up and
I'm pulling it
we'll
up. Give me a
explain
second.
why
Quick.
you're right and everyone who got mad and tweeted you is wrong.
From Bleacher Report, Justin Fields picks up the W in his first Steelers debut. Prove the doubters wrong. Then there's me and my smartassery. Tell me you didn't watch the game without telling me you didn't watch the game. I pissed off at least 23 people because that's what most of those replies were.
You actually had like a bunch of likes too, so a lot of people agreed with you.
I know, but the thing is, I still pissed off a lot of people. But here's the thing: Justin Fields proved nobody wrong. He dinked and dunked the entire game and had like five good scrambles, and that was it. Did he score any of those points? No, that was Chris Boswell.
He had 2 really good throws that I remember.
Like, he had one deep pass the entire game, and that was to George Pickens.
Yeah, he had one deep pass all game, and then he had one that he threw, I think, to the left or the right side of the field. That was a good throw to Pickens as well at the sideline, but that one wasn't a long throw either. The only thing he didn't do is throw interceptions, and he didn't score a touchdown. He didn't get them within touchdown range.
It's yeah. About to say most of that.
Me and you were messaging back and forth during that game, and I was like, "Please just make it be 18."
During that entire game, it was Chris Boswell and T.J. Watt carrying the entire place. I know you hate T.J. Watt, but he was a one-man wrecking crew that game.
Oh no, I don't hate T.J. Watt. I don't hate him.
I know you don't
just hate the fact that people.
I don't. I
like
know,
even during
well,
the game. Even during the game, the fucking announcers were like, "Oh, he gets double teamed more than anyone," and I'm like, he's getting chipped, like some of the time, right? Like a lot of times he just doesn't get double teamed, and you watch the game with Micah Parsons, and he's getting like straight up double teamed from the offensive line, right?
Yeah.
And they're too busy, like I said, they're too busy with the entire rest of the Steelers line to a lot of times get a second offensive line on him. And so he's getting chipped by the running back or by a tight end. But he was the best player on that field yesterday. So, I mean, I'm saying he's a top 5 defensive player. People act, though, like he's J.J. Watt, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, I understand it, but at the same time, you can't deny the impact he has had. It was a lot more than what Justin Fields did.
Like I said, he was the best player on that field when I was watching that game. He was the best player by far, and the most impactful as well.
Mm-hmm. But besides my little pat on the back for pissing off the people of X, formerly Twitter, we gotta actually get into stuff that actually is important. Our pick-ems. Now, again, we're recording this before Monday Night Football. I think our records together, Draz, is 10-5.
Yeah, I think both of us went 10-5 because both of us had our own upsets and ideas about how games would go.
So, depending on how Monday Night Football is, because we agreed on San Francisco, so we're gonna have the same record no matter what after this week.
Yeah, we both agreed San Francisco would win. Would win.
So
let's just say I'd be happy to be wrong about that, but
yeah, I'm 100% sure we're 10-5. I might have to recheck that later. Editing me, make sure you do that before you assume anything. But plus we'll also be doing like very brief reviews of each team and their performance in the last game as we go. So depending on whether or not we watch the game will be an entirely different matter. I just saw whatever popped up on Red Zone.
Yeah, I watched pretty much. I was watching the what's the NFL where they just show when a team's in the red zone.
NFL Red Zone.
And well, it's not NFL Red Zone. It's like a Game Time or something like that. It's not exactly their red zone thing, but it's their coverage when you're on Spectrum or something like that. NFL Game Day Live. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, Draz, I might have to add a news story here real quick. You'll see in a second.
Ooh.
It's not good news.
Is it Buccaneers or Packers news, or is
Broncos? again,
Broncos. Broncos country, let's ride? Question mark.
it'll probably pop up in the next 30 minutes. But anyways,
Okay. All right. Let's start with the first game of week 2.
yeah, our first Thursday night football game. We got the Bills at the Dolphins. Both teams looked very shaky last week. The Bills
For different reasons too.
Yeah, the Bills got into a firefight with Arizona, of all people.
Yeah.
The Dolphins had to come back
defense-
down 14 points against the Jags.
Well, I feel vindicated about having a lot of faith in the Jaguars.
Well, you're right, but they're not the point here.
But the Dolphins, I had a lot of faith in them. I had them at a high ranking, which I think they'll still win. And I think they'll fix the issues. But I watched the whole game with the Dolphins as well. I was watching it going back and forth between them and the Steelers the whole time. And they punted a concerning amount of times with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle out there. And there were some throws that straight up probably should have been intercepted by Tua.
Mm-hmm.
He did not look very good. I don't think that'll continue. I think they'll be fine. But that first game was either the Jags secondary has vastly improved, or the Dolphins.
Well, the Jags pass
have
rush
a chink in their armor.
Well, I mean, the problem with the Dolphins is that their offensive line was terrible. The Jags had I think 3 or 4 sacks, so their pass rush definitely got home. So it's the problem. The problem we have with Buffalo is that I don't think they had a defense. They just kept letting Arizona keep going down the field. Special teams touchdown on the side.
Wasn't it 17-0 before they scored as well?
Yeah, that's the problem we have. Do we trust Buffalo? I don't want to trust Buffalo after this week. Do I trust Dolphins? Do I trust the Dolphins? No, I don't want to trust the Dolphins because they are stuck in neutral the entire game.
Either one.
So it's a crapshoot. Who do you choose?
I'm going to choose the Bills. And if you want to choose the Dolphins, I think the Dolphins is the better choice. I'm going on the better. I'm going on the Josh Allen factor. He was big in that game.
Yeah, no, I gotta agree. As long as the Bills have Josh Allen, they'll always be in the game.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you. So
we agree in the first week.
We agree in the first week, albeit begrudgingly.
Or first game. Not first game, first week. Jesus.
Okay.
Anyway.
So,
all right.
First Sunday game. 49ers at Vikings. Again, Monday Night Football status pending. But if the 49ers play how I expect, they should have no problem against the Vikings. I'm glad.
Even if they lose in week 1 tonight, even if they lose.
Credit to the Vikings and Sam Darnold. They looked better than I thought they would. Again,
they looked really good.
They looked very good. But again, if it was J.J. McCarthy under center, I'd have a lot more hope. It's Sam Darnold in one game. Okay, he looked good in one game, but against San Francisco, who has a top 5 defense in the NFL, to my knowledge.
And what team was Sam Darnold on last year?
San Fran.
He was on San Fran. So on top of them,
you're gonna have either one.
Well.
You're gonna have a blowout, but it's gonna be you're gonna have a blowout, but it's gonna be on one end of the spectrum or the other. It's either gonna be a hilarious Vikings. It's gonna be a hilarious. I can't speak today. It's either gonna be a Vikings blowout, which by itself would be funny, or it's gonna be a 49ers blowout because Sam Darnold somehow is able to dissect that defense because he was there for 1 year.
I think that you have to choose the 49ers to win this game, but I think it'll actually be close. I think the Vikings can actually scare the 49ers. The problem is I don't know what to expect. If Sam Darnold plays as good as he did this week, then they could win any game. They could win pretty much any game. This is because that's what we were expecting from J.J. McCarthy. Someone who's not going to turn the ball over and can get the ball to Justin Jefferson.
Well, I know, but J.J. McCarthy is a little bit more mobile, so he had that extra element going to him. But
But
I'm
yeah,
choosing the 49ers. Shouldn't be much of a question mark. Again, if the Vikings win, it'll be funny. The good funny.
yeah, watch like tomorrow or tonight.
The 49ers
Something like
just get
awful
dismantled
happen.
by the
They
Jets.
they they get blown out, or Josh Purdy goes down with a 1 week long injury. Hopefully not, but I'm just saying, like, watch that happens, and we all of a sudden our pick of the 49ers becomes like way shakier.
Yep.
All right,
Oh,
well,
good lord. All
the
right.
next one on our catalog, at least for me, when I'm looking at it, is Seahawks Patriots.
Okay, so I think we can both agree the Patriots surprised us both, but at the same time, I should have expected it because of Week 1 Burrow.
Yeah, I didn't think Week 1 Burrow could stoop that low, and Week 1 Bengals could stoop that low, but they did.
They did.
They somehow surprised me and lost to the goddamn Patriots 16-10.
Well, I mean, there is another possibility here. We could have a Jag situation in our hands. They win the first game of the year and then lose the rest of the games.
That I don't think it's as bad as the Seahawks looked in the first half. They looked like a completely different team in the second half.
Mm-hmm. And that's been that's kind of been the Seahawks' MO for the past year.
Yeah. So I think I'm not even going to talk too much about it. I think the Seahawks, their offense is just going to be better than what the Bengals produced.
All right.
I don't think 16 points is going to cut it for the Patriots.
Well, against my
Congrats to the Patriots on your first win, but I'm going to choose against you again.
Well, against my better judgment, I'm going to pick the Seahawks. Again, the Patriots surprised some people. Their defense is very good for what it is. But again, Jacoby Brissett does not exactly provide confidence in the offense. They won last week,
Start picking
but how
against
much
each other.
how much of that is going to be because of how much of that was because of Week 1 Burrow? How much of it was?
Yeah.
All right. Next up on the list, it is the Giants at Commies. Well, the Giants managed to subvert my low expectations.
It was so bad, right? It was so bad that that ESPN itself started filming Giants fans leaving.
Yeah, no, they were leaving they were leaving with 8 minutes in the third quarter left.
right after the pick six, or what wasn't there a pick six?
I think so.
Yeah, it was. I'm gonna be totally honest. Didn't watch the Giants game because, I mean, I chose the Vikings to win, so I knew that was gonna happen. I didn't expect it to be
I thought the Vikings were
bad.
going to be worse.
I didn't expect it to be that bad.
Yeah, but the Giants managed to subvert my expectations. The Commanders, on the other hand, well, Jaden Daniels had the best game of the rookies so far. He didn't pass real well, but he could run.
Yeah, no one really had a standout day except for the year 2 quarterbacks. As far as the young guns go. But who has the more complete team? It's got to be the Commanders with Terry McLaurin and
So
the defensive line that they have. They at least have good defensive tackles, a good center.
Yeah, we're once again agreeing.
We need to stop agreeing, but this is obvious. This is like these first games, at least the first group of games, is going to be pretty obvious to me. The Bills Dolphins one was the most up in question on this.
So far we've had pretty solid answers for all of them.
Yeah, so both of us are choosing the Commanders. I think both of us are going to agree again here in the next game.
Yeah,
Chargers Panthers.
Yeah, okay, so let's get the obvious out of the way first. The Chargers actually went above my expectations. I should not have doubted a Jim Harbaugh team. They've done this before.
Jim Harbaugh and his team did some good work. I'm gonna say they didn't go above my expectations.
Well, I mean,
The team they
I
were
didn't
playing
expect the
against went way below my
I knew the
expectations.
run game was going to be. I knew the run game was going to be the focal point. Like I knew they were going to struggle passing. We all knew this. But Lag McConkey had 56 yards and a touchdown, so it's not completely doom and gloom. And J.K. Dobbins had like the best game of his career. So something's working. Or maybe it's just them playing the Raiders, but something's working.
For sure. The other side of the coin,
The other side of the coin
opponents,
is they made the Saints look like they could actually be a playoff team. That's all I got to say.
they made the Saints look like a Super Bowl contender.
Now, again, we'll get to the Saints later, but how much of that was just because of Carolina sucking? I believe a lot.
Oh, a lot of it was because of them sucking.
Like, I love you, Dave Canales, but cut your losses with Bryce Young. Start Andy Dalton next week and just see what happens.
I don't agree with that per se, but
The last
I do
time
think that they will be drafting.
Hold on. Week 3, Andy Dalton started. They actually almost won that game because of Andy Dalton. Bryce Young had like, what, 2 wins?
After week 1, though, I think that they're playing for the number 1 overall pick this year at this point. You might as well try to develop Bryce Young and see what the number 1 pick gives you.
Well, I mean, they could do what
it was so bad.
They could do what the Chicago Bears did a couple of years ago, get the number 1 overall pick and trade it.
They should. They should.
Like, if that happens, that is definitely what I'm
plus.
seeing happen. Unless Carson Beck turns out to be like the next best quarterback on the face of the earth.
Yeah. It was awful. Let's just say it was awful to watch.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara got his first touchdown in a while.
Hey, Alvin Kamara was on my fantasy. I drafted him this year on one of my fantasy teams.
Prepared to be disappointed.
Oh, I will be disappointed. I drafted him like in the 4th round.
All right, but I think obvious is obvious here. I'm taking the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm choosing the Panthers. No, I'm not.
If the Panthers
sorry,
win, I'm
Panthers
blame
fans. Sorry, Panthers fans. I don't think I will for the rest of the games this season. When I see the Panthers,
unless
going
something
the other
drastic happens.
So I also, speaking of fantasy, I have this little like pseudo like strategy. I try to keep 2 defenses on my team, but a lot of times I won't. So if I have a defense that gets really, really hurt, I have a habit of just picking up on a week by week basis whoever plays against bad defensive team or bad offensive teams. I will be picking up any team that plays against the Browns or the Panthers this year. And so that's going to be my entire strategy for teams that I don't have a solid defense on my fantasy team.
Well, I mean, it's a suitable strategy.
After this week with the Panthers, it looks like a great strategy. But yeah.
All right,
Saints Cowboys.
Okay, again, how much of the Saints? Well, how much of the win last week was because of the Saints and not the Panthers? That's the question.
Yeah.
Like Rashid Shaheed looked great. Chris
But
Olave,
how much of
I
the
don't
Cowboys
know about
win?
It. Derek Carr looked amazing. But you had the same question with what happened with the Browns.
Yeah.
Dak
it was
Prescott
this
threw
is
1 touchdown and 149 yards after signing the world's worst contract. But
we'll get
aside,
to that later, but
yeah,
I agree
all that aside,
that,
it was rather underwhelming.
I'm going to be bold.
Like, it was underwhelming, but it happened.
Someone's got to be bold, SDS. I'm choosing the Saints over the Cowboys here.
Well, this is our first split. I'm taking the Cowboys. I hate them. I hate both.
I'll give you an easy split.
I hate both these teams. Who do I want to lose
choosing
more?
the Saints
the
over
one
the
who's my
Cowboys.
division rival.
I'll give the Saints a little bit of faith because Derek Carr looked great, and it would be funny to see them beat the Cowboys. And we gotta split at some point, right? We gotta split at some point.
I just said
they can't just choose.
Hey, I just said I'll take the Cowboys, so there's our split.
I know. The obvious answer would just to choose the Cowboys and be done with it, but no, we're going Saints. Anybody can win on a given week, and the Saints look good last week. Except for the Panthers. The Panthers cannot win next week.
All right. Colts,
All right.
Packers. Okay. This is interesting.
There is a lot to unpack here because I was correct about my Packers struggling in week 1, but the reasons why they struggled, like the field and the not being able to score in the red zone, is very un-Packers like. So I kind of wanted to give them a mulligan. Then we lost our starting quarterback for 3 weeks at minimum.
Yeah, man.
So
Here's the thing. Malik Willis, he ain't it. He's not it. Anthony Richardson looked very good last week against the Texans, despite some of the struggles he had. He's a physical runner. He throws a brilliant deep ball. I'm taking the Colts.
Your social media moment was with the Steelers and not ex-Browns fan, ex-Bears fan, but with Bears fans that like Justin Fields. My social media moment this week was watching on TikTok people say, "In Malik Willis we trust," with Green Bay, and making hype videos about Malik Willis.
What do they use? Old Liberty highlights?
They would just post an image and be like, "We trusted Malik Willis," and I'm like, "What is happening here? Like, is Malik Willis, was he replaced with Tom Brady or something? Was his soul swapped or something?"
Well, that explains how Tom Brady did in the booth.
Unproven. We don't talk about Tom Brady being in the booth. But yeah, the Colts played exceptionally well. So I expected them to lose and be competitive against the Texans, but not like that. Like, they looked just as good as the Texans. Obviously they lost, but they could. There were ways that they could have won that game.
They could have won. Like,
yeah.
If they didn't have 2 interceptions overturned against the Texans, then I think they probably would have won.
Yeah. And so there is no way the Packers beat the Colts this week unless Josh Jacobs goes off.
And I don't really.
He had a very slow start last week. He ended up having a great second half, but I think that the Colts are going to know that Green Bay has to run the ball, so they'll just load it up and dare Malik Willis to throw it downfield. And we're not going to do that, so the Colts are going to win. We won't talk about it too much. So you don't want me to start crying. Don't talk about the pink one. All right, Browns, Jaguars.
All right, Jags. No question here. The Browns suck. Deshaun Watson, easily the NFL's worst quarterback. That offense, well, Jerry Jeudy got a touchdown. That's a good thing. That defense, it got shredded apart, despite the underwhelming performance by Dak Prescott. It got shredded apart.
Do we know? Why can't I think of his name? Defensive Player of the Year. He's on their team.
Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett. He was hurt. He got hurt.
Was he hurt?
Yeah, he got taken out of the game early on.
Well,
maybe not early on.
Well, not early on, but I don't think you could have put him back in and it wouldn't have made much of a difference. The Browns got smacked.
Yeah, I tuned into that game a little bit, and they were like, Myles Garrett's out with an injury.
Red Zone kept shoving it in my face, despite the fact that it's a regionally broadcasted game across most of the United States.
Let's see.
So they kept shoving it in my face when I was trying to watch the Bucs game. I was like, oh, come on. Like, they were showing the field goals and the punts and everything. Meanwhile, the Bucs were driving down the field and scoring a touchdown.
Okay, so it's not serious enough that anybody's talking about it. So I'm guessing it was just a little dinky doink injury.
Yeah, just a little boink.
Yeah, so he looks like he'll be fine for this game against the Jaguars. He's the only person that could do anything. The problem is Tank Bigsby. I watched the Jaguars game all the way through. Tank Bigsby looked great.
Yeah, Tank Bigsby looked good. And I think actually that I think Ezekiel Elliott had a little bit of a renaissance game. If I had to, let me check again against the Browns. Let's see. Let me look at the box score real quick.
And while you're doing that, I'll say
he
something
didn't
about the Jaguars.
He didn't have a renaissance game. He had 40 yards and a touchdown. That's about it.
Straight up, the Jags. Trevor Lawrence had the best throw in this week.
No,
he put an
no,
absolute dot into the back
Baker
of the end
Mayfield.
zone.
Baker Mayfield tossed to Mike Evans. St. Juice was all over him. That was a great throw.
Trevor Lawrence dropped one in just a dime. He could not have been in a more perfect place. It was the only place that it could have landed in the back of the end zone.
But I looked at
it was beautiful.
I looked at the box score. There was literally nothing that stand out about the Cowboys. So yeah, the Browns just suck.
Yeah, I have to choose the Jaguars. I have faith in them. They lost this first game, but they were very competitive.
Yeah, and I'll do the same.
I think their defense is vastly improved.
This is another very easy pick.
All right, Jets Titans. Again, we won't know.
Yeah, Monday Night Football pending, but even after that, I still I think the Jets would win
this. Fuck the Titans.
Yeah,
fuck the Titans.
The Titans.
Last time I picked you guys for a little bit.
That game, I've never been so mad at a game that I had no stake in. Well, I did have a little bit of stake because I wanted to see Caleb Williams fail, and he did, but everybody's still praising him as a savior for throwing barely 100 yards. Actually, no, he didn't reach that mark. But
I'm not I'm not against the Bears
the Titans
as a Packers fan.
Sold that game. They choked, and Malik Willis threw two of the worst interceptions you would ever see.
As a Packers fan, I wanted to see the Bears lose, but I was fine with I would be fine with them winning if the game was competitive. The Titans, I chose them to win last week, and they threw it away. They threw it away. We should have.
They literally just handed the Bears a win. Quite literally.
We have a loss that should not have been a loss in our pick-ems last week.
Not 1 point was scored by the Bears offense. Not one.
The sad thing is you're right. That's the sad thing is you think you're exaggerating, but you're not.
How do you lose a game by allowing barely 120 yards of offense? Well, 120 yards of offense by the quarterback at least. I don't know how the run game went, but
you're telling me Levis is going to go and not throw 2 interceptions against
Sauce Gardner? Yeah, I don't think so, man. Yeah. I'm taking the Jets. Easy pick.
On defense alone. All right, Buccaneers, Lions.
Okay. The good news, our offense looks great. It was against the Commanders, but it looked great. So that's that plus. And also, our run game looked substantially better. Both Rashad White and Bucky Irving had 50-plus rushing yards on a few carries. So our yards per game is going to go up. Here's my problem,
You ready for this?
Hold on. Here's my problem, though. The Lions, I've had them going 14-3. I don't see them in the cards a Bucs loss. I don't see it. So again, I don't mind if the Lions lose. I would love for the Bucs to win. It'd be great. But the Lions are the better team. I'm picking them.
I'm rolling with the Buccaneers, baby.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You can't be.
I'm rolling with the Buccaneers. The Lions, they barely won that first game against the Rams, and the Buccaneers are a better team than the Rams. I think the Lions are going to take a couple weeks to get it going. I loved what the Lions did in that game, but Jared Goff did not look as great as he did last year. And the thing is their defense was Swiss cheese at certain times in that game, and the Lions had multiple injuries in the secondary, I believe.
Yeah, no, I'm going to admit, them keeping Aaron Glenn might be the biggest mistake they've made this offseason.
Yeah, and what offensive line do you think could stop Aiden Hutchinson? I don't know, one with Tristan Wirfs on there. I mean,
Now,
I
say
think that I think that their pass rush will be limited or non-existent against the Buccaneers. And that leaves, well, Baker Mayfield's going to at least have as much or more time than the Rams did. And right now, I think that Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback than Matthew Stafford. At least he has a better receiving core right now because Puka Nacua was hurt for the majority of the game.
I want to agree. I want to agree with you, but I know better.
You know better, but I'm rolling with the Buccaneers. I'm rolling with the Buccaneers.
All
Buccaneers
right,
go to 2-0.
Raiders at Ravens. This would be hilarious if the Raiders somehow win.
They're not gonna win. Fuck you, Raiders. I chose you guys, and you
blew it.
You bailed
Yeah,
on
Gardner
me. You blew
Minshew
it.
threw a pick.
I had so much faith.
Hold on. Gardner Minshew threw a pick to a defensive lineman. I love you, Gardner, but you can't do that.
Sorry, you can't park here.
But no, Khalil Mack batted that pass, so kind of half on Khalil, half on the lineman. But again, the Raiders are very underwhelming. At 4th and 1, down a touchdown, they punted. Are we sure Josh McDaniels left the building?
It was bad. They're in the same boat as the Titans. Like, I had a lot of faith in the Raiders and the Titans at the beginning of this year to at least be scrappy, competitive teams. The Titans, I still have some faith in. Same thing with the Raiders. Like, their quarterbacks seem to be extremely inconsistent. But picking them on a week-by-week basis is going to be incredibly hard to do because
it's going to be a wild card team, not in a playoff wild card, but like you never know what you're going to get each week.
Yeah, I just feel like the Raiders have less a smaller future than the Titans now. Because I was like, oh, they're just a quarterback away, and that might be true.
Well, I think the Raiders. Well, if Gardner Minshew fails to perform again, they might actually. You can legitimately say they are a quarterback away, because that defense, it played very good until the third quarter. Because at that point, they were all worn and tired because they were on the field most of the game.
Yeah, they probably are just a quarterback away, and
but
I think next year if they draft or sign a good quarterback, they could go somewhere.
Say the Ravens and the Chargers, relatively similar with how they like to run the ball. It happens again. The Ravens win.
Yeah, Ravens win. All right, Rams Cardinals.
Okay.
Now this my faith in the Cardinals.
I'll say this is interesting because the Cardinals, if they just scored one more touchdown, if Baker Mayfield did not, well, not Baker Mayfield, different OU quarterback, if Kyler Murray saw Marvin Harrison Jr. out in the open, they probably would have scored and got into OT.
Yeah. So
the Rams, they took the Lions to OT, who I project to be division winners and a Super Bowl champion. So who do you choose?
The Cardinals, the faith I had in the Cardinals was absolutely warranted. I chose them to win that game. And they were up 17-0. They have improvements to make for sure. Do we know what Puka Nacua's injury was?
I didn't even realize he got hurt.
He was out for over half the game.
He was in the second half as far as I can tell.
No, he was carted off.
Oh. Well, I don't know it. If he was carted off, then it's probably going to be like something with his knee or his ankle. Probably on a week-to-week basis, if I had to guess. But
it's just knee injury.
I'm going to go for the quote-unquote...
But they also lost offensive linemen, too.
Yeah. I'm going to go for the quote-unquote upset. I'm taking the Cardinals.
I'm taking the Cardinals as well. I loved what Matthew Stafford put up that last game, but I trust the Cardinals a little bit more right now, actually. I liked what I saw from the Cardinals. They lost that game, but they were playing the Bills. And the Bills surprised me on offense. Okay. So,
all right, Bengals Chiefs. Now, here's the big question: week 2, Burrow, show up.
Fool me once, Bengals. Shame on me. Fool me twice. Shame on you.
Fool
or
me
whatever
once, shame
the
on you.
saying
Fool
is.
me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3
Yeah.
times, I'm an idiot. So I can't do it. I don't want the Chiefs to win, but I gotta choose them. This
Yep.
game doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah, I'm thinking that we're gonna find out real quick that the Chiefs are the better football team, and the Bengals are gonna be playing catch up all year.
Just hold on. I'm still gotta see about this. It's a joke, but it's completely correct. The Bills gave up the picks. That ended up being the following for the Chiefs: Patrick Mahomes and Xavier Worthy.
Yep.
If they end up becoming the next Tyreek Hill Mahomes combination, I hope for the rest of the time they're in the NFL that the freaking Bills lose every freaking game they get on their schedule.
And we picked them to win this week too.
Again, it's only week 1. Xavier Worthy had I think 2 touchdowns, so already not off to a good start.
All right, so we both think the Chiefs. I think we're both gonna agree on the next game: Steelers Broncos.
Okay, so hold on. So Bo Nix, he did all right. 2 interceptions, but the Broncos scored 2 safeties with their defense in the same game, within 5 minutes of each other. So they're doing something right on defense.
Yeah, but can that offensive line keep a very, very, very pissed off TJ Watt behind them?
Well,
it?
Well, I mean, the Texans last year, they played the Steelers. They won against the Steelers, and that was with TJ Watt getting no sack. At least, and that was with half their offensive line injured. Again, different teams, but still. Different teams, different coaching, but still. Also, you got Mike McGlinchey on that line, so he's not a pushover.
I'm going with the Steelers, man. I can't
Man, I can't. I don't think they
that
pull
defense,
off field goal. I don't think they I don't think they pull off 18 points just by field goals again. I got to go with the Broncos here.
I'm going with the Steelers, and I'm making a prediction. Minka Fitzpatrick gets at least 1, but I'm saying he gets 2 picks.
All right,
2 picks.
All right.
All right.
Sunday
Bears,
Night Football.
Texans. I'm rolling with
Texans.
the Bears, baby. No, I'm not.
No, you're not. God, hold on. I want this game to end in a tie. I hate C.J. Stroud. I hate Caleb Williams. I hate both of them for my own reasons. But if I had to choose one, it's going to be the Texans. I cannot stand the media going that Caleb Williams is the next best savior of the college of the NFL. Let's go Chicago. Yeah, only 100 points pass or only 100 yards passing. Woohoo! No. I need the Texans for once. This is a one-time request. I need this to happen. I want them to slap the Chicago Bears. This is the one time I will actively root for them under C.J. Stroud. I want them to slap the crap out of the Bears.
I think you'll get your wish. The Texans are just way better. And unfortunately, the Bears offense was rolling. The problem was their quarterback was overthrowing the wide open receivers by 20 yards. His accuracy is going to be an issue. I think he might be able to work out still. I'm not calling him an immediate bust. I think he'll be fine.
We know what Josh.
The problem is
we've seen inaccurate quarterbacks that develop. Just look at Josh Allen, but I don't think Caleb Williams is going to beat Josh Allen.
Well, he's on the Bears, so developing quarterbacks has not always been a strong suit. So,
just a reminder: the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer.
And they're not going to start this year.
God, I hope so.
All right. I choose Texans. You choose Texans, which leads us to our Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Foosball.
Falcons, Eagles.
Eagles.
The Falcons surprised me.
Eagles. The Falcons didn't. They
Falcons
performed as
surprised
about
me.
as I expected.
You know how they surprised me?
Were they
They
worse than your
surprised me
expectations?
with how shit they could be. I thought that they had a seal. They had a basement, and that their basement was at least 500.
Well, it looks like 500 around this point.
Their basement could be 4-13. Their basement could be 4-13.
You were laughing at me for putting them down at 6-11 during our preseason stuff. You were laughing at me. Right now, it looks like that's more likely than them making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like
Falcons.
I don't even have to explain it.
Well, Kyle Pitts caught a touchdown.
Okay,
and
cool.
Bijan Robinson was decent.
Okay, but here's the problem. Kirk Cousins did not look good. He fumbled 3 times and then threw 2 picks.
I think he was hanging out. He was getting massages with Deshaun Watson in this offseason.
No. No.
He was doing something. He was doing something, man. I have no idea what was going on.
But no,
what the hell?
You got to be a fool to go with the Falcons here.
All right, so I watched the whole game as well, and what the fuck is the offensive coordinator doing?
Are we sure that Arthur Smith ever left that team?
Oh, he did. He absolutely did. Because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, why are we running Kirk Cousins in pistol the whole goddamn game?
Maybe this is what I was trying to warn people about, that Raheem Morris is a terrible coach. Maybe it's
Why was 90% of the plays in pistol? He has never run pistol. Like, Kirk Cousins has never been in a majority pistol, but it's like, he's not mobile. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I guess because Deshaun Robinson, but like
on the freaking ESPN analytics stuff, like they track speed and everything, they tracked his running speed at 8 miles an hour. He wasn't even trying to sprint.
Well, you get what I'm saying with pistol. Like, pistol, I mean, it can work, but like
it can work, but you got to have somebody who can move.
Yeah, and it's like on top of that, though, it's like they were saying the announcers were like, "Oh yeah, they're doing it for comfort and stuff like that." If you're trying to make Kirk Cousins feel comfortable, run the ball and then run off of play action. They were running pistol the entire game, like the entire game. It was just they'd line up in pistol again. I'm like, guys, it's not working. It's not fucking working, guys. It was frustrating me because they would just be right back in the pistol. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and if that's the offense the whole game, you might as well start Michael Penix. You might as well. Because you're not putting you just signed Kirk Cousins.
If Kirk Cousins keeps playing like that, they might as well.
Well, they signed Kirk Cousins, and now they're not going to cater towards Kirk Cousins. Like, the reason why he was good at the Redskins when they were still the Redskins, and the reason why he was good at the
they primarily ran out of shotgun. Like, that was the thing.
What's the other team?
Vikings.
The Vikings.
Just there,
the reason why they were good is because he had good weapons that he could throw to. And they were running play action. They were running a system that was catered to him and his arm and his weapons, right? And it's like, what's up with the Falcons not doing that? Like,
it's been the Falcons' normal MO since about 2019.
I don't know. Maybe somebody's like completely wrong about it, but the Eagles last year ran inside zone shotgun the entire year, ran play action out of the inside zone. Nobody was fooled by it. It was a terrible, terrible offense. And this year, they immediately looked better. They looked way better. And immediately they got a giant 70-yard pass or 66-yard touchdown from A.J. Brown. Hurts didn't look amazing, but you can, mulligan him a little bit. Their offense still looked electric and stuff like that. They changed everything. They fired everything. They got to restart. The Falcons, they're just running the Eagles offense last year, but with pistol instead. Like, they just sat there the whole time in one formation and just said, we're going to run this one formation until we die.
Again,
I don't know. Sorry, I ran over about Falcons.
That's just Raheem Morris. That's just Raheem Morris doing Raheem Morris things.
I can't help but say that you're right about the Falcons because I was actually high on them and they made me actually angry watching that game. I was like, oh my god,
Yeah,
I'm
no.
not even a Falcons fan. They made me angry watching that.
All right,
and
well,
whatever,
all right.
whatever.
Well,
You
that
lost to
is
Justin Fields.
that is
Get out of here,
dishonor. That is a
Falcons.
dishonor in the NFL world. You lost to Justin Fields. But with
All
all that
right.
out of the way, that is our pick'ems for the week done, and that brings us right to the news.
Banana.
Banana. All right, so
All right, can I take this first? Actually, I'll take the first two.
You
News
can go ahead
things,
and
'cause
take
I
the
brought
first
up
two, but you're going to have to give me a
one's.
second because I got to pull up another news story that just happened. I'm hoping the ESPN just made
All
an
right.
article about it.
Well, while you do that, the first two
Broncos.
news, one directly pertains to me and my Packers, and the other one I brought to the table today, so I can talk about that as well. Setting it up, the Eagles Packers game was it was a good game. It was it went kind of how I thought it would go, except for the field was terrible. Like they decided to play on a slip and slide, and they were like, that would be fun. Let's have the NFL play on ice. Let's the NFL on ice. Let's do it. Let's run it. And that led to Jordan Love having to try to do a game-winning drive and getting tackled in a very awkward way. Some people said it was like malicious. It wasn't. Packers fans. The majority of them are decent, but then you have that like radical like nut job side, like that 10%. I know a lot of fan bases have that 10%, but yeah, they were like, oh, the Eagles guy did it on purpose. He was holding him there, and so nah, he's just trying to tackle him. He was just trying to get his knees down, and it wasn't intentional. But Jordan Love was helped off, and it looked really, really, really bad. But they said it's just an MCL sprain,
Well, that's good.
and that will be 3 to 4 weeks. But I've heard somewhere people say 3 to 6 weeks, which means Green Bay
Okay, there we go. I had to
will
swap
have to
the
have a
news
very
story.
good.
I forgot to do that.
I don't see Green Bay winning a single game without like a serviceable quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And so Malik Willis being out there is highly concerning that we might start 0-4 or 0-5. Like we could maybe finish 9-8, but I'm not seeing a record above 9-8 this year because of this injury.
Mm-hmm.
But Jordan Love could show his inner Aaron Rodgers and run the table, I guess, at some point late in the season. But you kind of lost your chance with the Eagles. They could have won that game. They had to kick 2 field goals when they had 2 turnovers on their side of the field. So
yeah, most of this we covered already in the Pick'ems discussion. So
yeah, so that's about all I'll say about him spraining his MCL. Not completely doesn't suicide our season, but it heavily damages our season.
Yeah,
I would say.
I'd agree.
Which leads us to, speaking of damaging seasons, Derek Brown
Where did that
has a more than likely season-ending injury for the Panthers.
Yeah, potential. I gotta scroll down before NFL copyrights me for a 2-second clip. But
Just
yeah,
put catfish up over top of it.
not again. But
they had like very few things on that defense that I actually like. Derek Brown was one of them, and he's gone for the whole year. And I can't if they have a legitimate chance to not win a game this year. I think that they have a chance to win a game, but Deontay Johnson was a no factor, so their offense was terrible. Their quarterback was terrible, and then on the defensive side, which they've been relatively good at, last year they were terrible. So last year they were terrible, and they were terrible with Derek Brown having an exceptional season. Now they have the same defense without Derek Brown. So that's what I'm going to say. It's just, how bad could the Panthers get? You don't even know how bad it can get.
Well, I mean, they won
Like,
2 games.
don't even know.
One against the Texans, one against the Falcons, but either way. All right. Next story, and this one, actually, I slept through this and woke up to it, and I was like, what the shit happened? Dak Prescott and the Cowboys agreed to a $240 million deal, 4 years. This is how we are nowadays with contracts. We pay over $200 million for quarterbacks we know won't ever make it to the promised land.
Well, I had a Falcons mini rant, but we're about to have here comes rant 2.0.
Hold on, before you do, I got to go over this. The Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott have agreed on a 4-year, $240 million contract that will keep him in Dallas through the 2028 season. The deal includes $231 million guaranteed, which is the most in league history. Deshaun Watson's fully guaranteed deal with the Cleveland Browns was worth $230. And it's a $60 million annual. It's a $60 million annual value.
Jerry Jones, you have brought horrible things to your land. You've brought famine and
First the
10
plague,
years of bad juju.
First the frogs, then the bugs, then the boils and the wine, and then the smiting of the firstborn. That's what the order of operations is for the Cowboys organization.
Dak Prescott would probably get this contract somewhere, but for the life of me, they turned down. They had a team option. I'm like 90% sure, right? They had a team option last year.
Don't worry, we're going all in. We're
correct
going to
about
win
that?
the Super Bowl. We're going to win the Super Bowl. That's
And
what I say every
they
year, but we're
don't
going to go
pick up-
all in. Yeah. Well, if this is his version of going all in, I believe it.
So, well, I guess, okay, well, you just wanted to get ready to sign him to this extension. Well, you're paying $60 million for him right now. And your idea of we're gonna do we're gonna go all in is guaranteeing him $230 million
If the Cowboys
and not signing anybody.
If the Cowboys continue
and
to
free
fail,
agency.
we all laugh at them. But at the same time, he just screwed up the quarterback market.
Well, it just makes no.
But
it makes no sense. I was thinking he was going to move off of him.
$240 million to somebody who's only has 2 playoff wins total after almost a decade. Hey, I'll say him and Kirk Cousins are both in the same. We're paying that much money to quarterbacks who won't ever perform in the playoffs, and we know it.
All right, so here's how I see here. This will be a analogy for Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones walks into a McDonald's and he walks in and he's like, man, I'm feeling a Big Mac right now. I'm feeling some Thousand Island sauce with the double patty and the middle bun. I'm feeling it. And he's like, give me a Big Mac. And they come out with a quarter pounder with cheese, and then they pull their pants down and shit on that thing. So they don't even get the order right, and they shit on it, and they hand it to him. And he decides to eat it and then say, I want more of that. Give me 4 more years of this, please. Thank you.
I have a feeling that players are walking into his office to take advantage of his dementia. That's what it sounds like.
It made sense. It makes sense to re-sign CD Lamb. I mean, he is that good. He's that good. He's a good building piece for the future. What? Now we have him on a monster contract, and now we have
the main question
Dak on a monster contract.
Hold on,
are we going to do Micah Parsons too?
Hold on, I'm in college right now. My minor is sports business and management. That's my minor to my major. In the one class I've taken so far that was important for management, we were taught the following: low risk, high reward. Low risk, high reward. Also, the main question you have to ask when re-signing a player is, what have you done for me or the organization recently? That is the main question you got to ask. What has Dak Prescott done besides, throwing for a bunch of yards and touchdowns? Nothing.
I mean, like, I don't know. It's just I get, like, okay, well, you want to keep your quarterback together. He is a good quarterback. The thing is like I said, he'd probably get that contract or something close to that somewhere else. But the Cowboys now you're paying him, do the math, $230 million guaranteed.
Yeah,
He
not
said
to also
till
mention, they
2028.
still got to take care of Micah Parsons soon.
Yeah. And it's like, well, now they have to pay Micah Parsons, and he's going to make $20+ million a year, probably 25+ per year. And so you're going to be paying Micah Parsons 25+ per year. CeeDee Lamb is being paid $30 million a year,
Roughly.
I
He's the
remember.
highest paid receiver
Roughly
in the
30
NFL
million?
now.
Yeah, and now you're making your quarterback the highest paid player. Are you just going to have? You might as well just march all three of them out there in the playoffs and say, "Do your best." And
Do your best. Here's some paper bags around you.
yeah, we're gonna take Cowboys fans and put them in all of the positions out there.
Okay.
It's like, okay, well, now they're the most top heavy team in the entire league now.
About to say,
Even over the 49ers.
It's normal Jerry Jones stuff. He goes for the star power and nothing else.
They're gonna, dude. They just
Jerry
said,
Jones,
I love
he
losing
did
in the
this-
playoffs. I'm gonna do it
He did this in
again.
the 90s. He did this in the 2000s with Tony Romo. He's doing it now. You know how many Super Bowls they win in the past 30 years of doing that? 0. You know how many times they made it past the division round in that span? 0. You know how many losing seasons they had in that span? I think they're like 10.
Okay, here's a question. I'm gonna ask you this, and you answer, because I have never asked this question before to you. This is a new question for you. I want the SDS answer. All right, you're a upcoming coaching prospect in the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mike McCarthy gets fired, and one of your open positions, because there's the Panthers, there's there's a couple of different teams. Maybe in the Steelers a few years, maybe the Falcons here soon. There's a couple of teams with a couple of different openings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say you're like the Lions offensive coordinator. He's going to get a head coaching job in the next few years. He chose to stay instead of become a head coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say you're him. Do you want to go to the Cowboys with the team that they have, with the future that they have, with the freedom that they have? If you're an up-and-coming coach with it's like the freedom to do what you want with your team, do you want to go there?
Definitely not. Like, of all those that you mentioned, if I had to choose, like, if I had to go to a team to coach, it would not be the Dallas Cowboys at all. They're overpriced. They got an overpriced veteran, a few young good pieces, but that's about it. You got nothing to work with, and the salary cap is going to be hell. You're looking at the Saints situation, but times 10.
The two worst situations that a coach should never want to go to: Panthers and now the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy has not done anything wrong per se, but it's like he's being puppeted by.
He's just very vanilla.
Yeah, I mean, he's not done anything wrong, but the thing is look at the last two coaches that have come through for Jerry Jones. He likes vanilla. He wants vanilla.
Yeah, Jerry Jones, and then
who's the guy, the head coaches Cowboys?
I know the name Jarrett's in there somewhere.
They have
I just know him as Clapping Man.
Jason Garrett.
Thank you.
Vanilla. Mike
Vanilla.
McCarthy, vanilla. Jason Garrett, vanilla. I know Mike McCarthy's won a Super Bowl,
But that was
but
because of A-Rod, debatably.
yeah, and yeah. So look at the last two quarterback coaches. You could both put them in vanilla. They're just going to be like, all right, we'll do the best we can with what we got. Jerry Jones is going to do whatever he wants. I'm not going to push back on it. It's like
there's nothing wrong with vanilla, but there's something wrong with too much vanilla.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, the Panthers, they wanted CJ Stroud. The coaching staff wanted CJ Stroud. And their owner said, get Bryce Young. And it's like, well, who wants to be in that situation where the owner who has no knowledge on football is going to tell you who to draft? It's like, you don't want to be there. You don't want to beat the Cowboys. And I guess that's all I'll say about it. Just like, I'm sure Cowboys fans are happy to have Dak there, but
All right, we got to move on.
I mean, I think that was a really good conversation about it, because that's like...
It was, but it also ran me about 15 minutes.
True.
All right, next.
It's a podcast. We fine.
Police union. Tyreek Hill was uncooperative during traffic stop. The union representing Miami-Dade police officers in a statement Monday said that Tyreek Hill was uncooperative and was only redirected to the ground while in handcuffs during his detainment for the Miami Dolphins game Sunday because he refused orders to sit. Jeez. Well, who do you believe, Tyreek Hill or the cops? Like, I don't care. It's not that big a deal. Like, traffic violation. What do you do?
I kind of believe Tyreek Hill, because the thing is he supposedly had a teammate there with him, and they also put him in cuffs.
But I'll say, and the cop that did it was put on administrative leave.
Yeah. I think that the cop was like, oh, let's do this right before the game intentionally. I think he was like, I don't know, doing it. I don't want to say he was doing it for attention, because I'm sure he's just trying to do his job. But I think that I kind of like, as much as Tyreek Hill has been like, he's gotten in trouble for punching people recently.
We'll find out soon. We know body cam footage is going to be released about this.
Yeah. We'll
find out very soon. All
right.
right.
I'll just save my comments until later.
Yeah.
But
all right.
I want to believe Tyreek Hill.
This is the last actual news story for the NFL, and it's sad. Let's see. Broncos and Lions linebacker Alan Aldridge died at 52. From what I know, he was a Broncos legend, so...
I don't know much. I know the name, but I don't know what he did with the Broncos. I know his name, just not his accomplishments in the NFL.
Let's see. The University of Houston, Aldridge Allen announced his death Monday. Aldridge finished his college career in 1993 and was a second-round pick by the Broncos. Aldridge played every game as a rookie and became starter for his final 3 seasons in Denver. That run included a start in the team's Super Bowl 32 win over the Packers, and Aldridge helped the Broncos get there with a key interception in the AFC Championship game.
That would be probably why I know.
Yeah, but
why I
very
know
sad.
him.
Very, very sad. Whatever he believed in, I hope he finds it. Simple stuff. I wish him condolences to his family and to the Broncos organization and the Houston Cougars. I don't have anything much to say.
Yeah, never fun.
But speaking of Cougars, speaking of the Houston Cougars, now we got to go into...
Speaking of Cougars.
What a horrible segue.
I have a date later.
Anyways, speaking of the Cougars, OU won against Houston 16-12. We only won by 4 points against a team we were supposed to crush. Our offense looks terrible. And I'm not even using I'm not being exaggerative here. They looked awful. Awful.
Well, at least you won.
Well, yeah, at least we won, but we're in the SEC, thank you. If we play against group of, well, I guess Houston's in the Big 12 now. I'm still used to them being in the ACC. But if we're playing like that against Houston, what chance do we have against Alabama or Tennessee?
None. Zero.
Exactly.
Negative.
That's what I thought. All right, but we'll move on to your game. Duke defeated Northwestern 26-20. And
We're 2-0. We're 2-0.
I said I had Northwestern winning this. Well, I've been proven wrong.
Man, maybe I was wrong about Duke. Maybe Duke's finally getting competent, and it's
But I'll say Northwestern's not really
coaching staff. And,
Northwestern's not really a slouch. A slouch. They went 8-4 last year and won a bowl game, so they're competent.
I mean, we don't go against a bunch of amazing teams, but we'll see later on when we play Miami and NC State and UNC. But
I will say,
happy
according to the box score, Malik Murphy did pretty good. So. Oh, and also, by the way, you have
if
Star
you noticed
Thomas.
Our first two games.
You have Star Thomas, who was a former New Mexico State Aggie, so I'm fine with that. He can go off as much as he wants.
It looks like the only points that we can put up are 26 because we have 26 points in the first week and 26 points in the second week.
Hey, consistency.
No, if we put up 26 points every week, I mean, we'd win majority of our games, so I'd be happy with that.
Yeah. All right, now this is the upset section. We're starting off with the biggest one of this week. Northern Illinois defeated Notre Dame at home. This
Why, Riley
was
Leonard?
a hilarious game. Riley Leonard, 163 yards, and he threw 2 interceptions. What happened?
Well, they ranked Notre Dame because of that, by the way.
Yeah, they ranked Northern Illinois. They're in 25 in the nation
Northern
now.
Illinois, yeah.
Notre Dame got dropped down to 15 after that, even though they probably should have been kicked out of the poll altogether.
They're 18 now.
Well, either way, they should
now.
have been kicked out of the poll altogether.
Oh, man.
This weekend for college football has been hilarious, and this game was one of the reasons why. Like earlier today, I went into my professor's office, my history professor. He looked at me and was like, "Well, are you going to give excuses for Notre Dame, Mr. Catholic?" I just looked at him and went like, "No, I have nothing to say because I don't like Notre Dame." And he looked at me like I was crazy. He was like, "That's the first time I'm hearing a Catholic say they don't like Notre Dame." Like, seriously, like, he was so shocked for, like, no reason.
Mormon? You're not a Birmingham Young fan? What?
That's about expect. It's funny because their starting quarterback is Jewish, I think. So, like, I think their starting quarterback is Jewish. I think. Yeah, they have a Jewish quarterback, so that's kind of funny. That's not what you would expect from a BYU quarterback.
Atheist? You're not a Caltech fan?
Atheist? You're not from Berkeley. All right, but next game. This was a prediction I got correct. Idaho went to Wyoming and beat them.
Isn't Wyoming only relevant because Josh Allen went there?
Yes. But Idaho almost took down Oregon. They went in and got an FCS upset like I wanted. I'm completely fine with this. And I don't think they play another FBS team, so this is their last one of the season, and they went 1-1, so I'm fine with that. Who knows? Maybe they'll bump themselves back up to FBS after a few years if they continue to win. And last game here, another FCS upset. St. Francis, PA beat Kent State. Kent State is like the worst team in the MAC. Not surprising that they got upset. But either way, it's always funny to see an FCS upset against an FBS because FBS is like top tier. Like normal stuff. Like you never want to turn your nose at a good FCS potential upset. Because you like the feeling that they're finally playing with the big boys and they've won against the big boys. So fantastic, ain't it? I think so. Also, side note, the St. Francis team name is the Red Flash and the Kent State's is the Golden Flashes. So you also got that.
Well, with that, we're through everything. You want to give any, right before we're done, you want to give any certified SDS predictions about college?
I will. Just give me a second. Let me pull everything back up. Well, I got to get everything back to the start here, but I will give some certified SDS predictions for college football. Whether I'm wrong or not, these are the predictions I am going to make. UNLV will go into Kansas and win. Tulsa will upset Oklahoma State. Tulane will lose by 1 point against Oklahoma. Colgate will defeat Akron. Colorado State will beat Colorado. New Mexico State will beat Fresno State. Alabama walks into Wisconsin and gets blasted. Boston College walks into Missouri and wins. Let's see, what else here? Notre Dame goes to Purdue and they lose.
What do you think?
I got more. I'm still scrolling down. Okay, you guys will beat UConn. You guys are not going to have a problem with that. Let's see. UTEP will defeat Liberty.
What about Kansas State and Arizona?
UTSA will defeat
that's a pretty
Texas
good game.
somehow, some way. Vanderbilt will go 3-0. They will defeat Georgia State. Let's see. And that's about it. What was the one you talked about real quick?
Number 20 Arizona versus number 14 Kansas State. I got a little soft spot for Kansas State.
I'm going with Arizona there.
Man.
All right, but that is it. All the stuff is done in a little under a minute 30. With that out of the way, I hope you guys enjoyed episode 7 of Battle for the Bay. Hit the subscribe button, click the bell to get notification when I upload. Like the video, it'll help up with the algo. And that is pretty much it.
Yeah, sorry we didn't record this before Monday Night Football, but we'll
get it figured out.
We'll have we'll that won't be a usual thing. But yeah, thank you to everybody for stopping by, and leave a like or a comment or
we will see you guys next week. And that's about it. I hope you guys have a good day, and we'll see you guys then.